Greetings and welcome to another Messages from Ori, where I channel messages and guidance from the collective consciousness. I am so happy to have you here with me today. I'll be channeling messages on how we can improve our mental health. But first, if you're interested in a personal reading on this topic, an Ifa reading, a Heterisa reading, Ifa-Orisa related ebooks, online trainings, or my Patreon, my website is daydreamalston.com. It's in the description box. Okay? Great. So I know that the past 2 years have been a struggle for many people and that people's mental health has suffered greatly. So I wanted to take some time out to channel messages about how we can improve our mental health. Today I'm using the True Heart Tarot, the Language of Flowers message deck, and a personal message deck that I created myself, okay? So I'm going to start my shuffling. When I split the deck, the first thing I see is the Ten of Swords. So some of you are just feeling defeated. Like, you feel like this past 2 years has kicked your ass. You just feel like you're just over it. You're over it. You feel so drained and overwhelmed by how things have played out for you. But let's just see how we can improve our mental health, what we can do. The Star has fallen out. The Star in the True Heart Tarot is such a beautiful card. But let's get some more cards before I move forward. Okay, we have the Eight of Swords, Temperance, the Star, Prince of Wands, which is the Knight of Wands, and the Fool here. Oh, and the Death card. Can't leave that out. So with the Star coming out first, there's a need to really alchemize your energy, right? So alchemy is like the act of transmutation, right? And you're taking something, you're working with the tools you have, you're working with what you have and transforming it into something that is useful to you. So the Star is really calling on us who are struggling with mental health to make it a priority to really transmute that energy of depression, of sadness, of loss, of feelings of hopelessness. There is a need to really make your mental health a priority. In the Star, we have this figure who has 2 cups, and she's pouring some water in the water and some on the ground. We see her watering her landscape. So your job is to treat yourself as if you are one of your house plants, right? And maybe your house plant looks sick, and so you try to identify what you can do to bring it back to life, to give it vitality and to make it look lush and beautiful again. We do that with a lot of things in life, right? If our car breaks down or has some issues, we, troubleshoot, we take it to a mechanic. Something happens in the house, we do the same. Something happens with our children, a spouse, a family member. We're always looking to troubleshoot and figure out how to help. But I notice people with mental health issues sometimes, we have a hard time looking at ourselves and focusing on caring for ourselves. It's safer and it feels easier to look outside of ourselves and to help others, right? I think with our own issues sometimes, we feel so overwhelmed and bogged down by them that we just feel like it's too hard to focus on that. But you're being encouraged to water your landscape, to care for yourself the same way you would someone else if they came to you and they were depressed or they were struggling. What would you do to help them? What resources would you send to them? Would you encourage them to go to therapy, or something like that? Like there's a need to prioritize your mental health and well-being. With the Star and the Temperance both here, and both of these figures have 2 cups and they're pouring water here and there. There's something about figuring out what the keys to healing are for you particularly, right? Because your keys to healing, to improving your mental health are going to be different than mine. So it's going to take you really looking within to identify what helps you, to just have a better mental outlook, to be at peace mentally. One of the things you absolutely are being guided to do is to have hope. Even when life looks bleak, even when, shitty things are happening, you're being encouraged to see the good in life, to look at what you can be grateful for, find the littlest thing to be grateful for. You have to find reasons to believe that you belong here on the planet. You have to find reasons to be hopeful, and faithful. And it's not always easy, but that's something you're being encouraged to do, the same way you're meant to prioritize your mental health. In order to improve it, you need to prioritize being hopeful and believing that all will work out for you. With the temperance here, for many of you, it's encouraging you to be more balanced and moderate in your activities, and your practices and your habits. Like, try not to overdo or underdo anything. Like, try to be very moderate, right in the middle. Be careful of overeating. Be careful of alcoholism. Be careful of doing the most. This is all about bringing your energy into balance, right? And finding ways to ensure that you're balanced. With both of these figures in the star and the temperance card, one has a foot on the earth and the other has a foot in the water. They want you to be careful. Some of you may have high empathic senses. So in addition to your own hardship, you may be pulling, or not pulling, but taking on the hardship of others, right? Sponging it up, sucking it up, absorbing it. And then it makes it even more heavy, right? Then you just really feel wiped out, exhausted, overwhelmed. So you have to find a way to balance your energy, right? To make sure that you're not so bogged down in emotion, but you're balancing your emotion with your sensibility, your emotional and logical sensibilities. Okay, so it's just like being careful of getting too caught up in your emotional senses. For some of you, being careful of getting too caught up in the intuitive senses. Remember that you're a spiritual being having a human experience, and you need to be present here on earth. Some of you can get lost in the heavens. You can get lost in emotion. So be careful with that. Balance. Be very, very balanced. Some of you, your mental health is you're struggling with mental health because of your thinking. Your thoughts are literally imprisoning you, and keeping you trapped. You have these repetitive negative thoughts that play over and over again like a broken record, and they're causing you harm. It's really stopping you from moving forward, but it's also creating like this entity, this dark, shadowy entity around you that can now act as like an enemy, right? And don't be afraid of it. It's literally just a part of yourself. And when we talk about transmutation, you have to transmute that energy, bring it back into your being, and use it for your good. But some of you have really created an entity out of your suffering. And you're creating this by your thinking. So you have to find ways to positively distract yourself. It's kind of like break free of the prison you've created for yourself. You can do that by, doing a lot of releasing whatever has caused these negative thoughts, putting it out there. The card is also showing me, this Eight of Swords, that you're creating traps for yourself with your thinking. So you're stopping yourself from moving forward. You're overthinking things and blocking yourself. So there's a need to really pay attention to your thoughts. Do some searches on, changing the mind. Just put a search in like YouTube. You'll see so many videos. The mind is such an awesome tool But if we don't know how to work with it, we can really get caught up. With the Prince of Wands here, the way that we can improve our mental health is to take passionate action towards our goals and the things we're interested in. So first you want to identify what that is, right? Like, what are the positive things in your life, the passionate things in your life, things that get your heart going, like that you're really excited about. What are those things that excite you? You're being encouraged to go towards them, like to take action steps towards your goals. If you're interested in doing something, stop holding back. Some of you have hobbies that you love, businesses you want to start. Some of you have songs you want to write, novels you want to write, your life story. There's things, you have all this art and creativity within you, but you're not moving forward. So it's an encouragement. If you want to improve your mental health, set that stuff free. Like, go and do the things that you want to do. For others of you, or for maybe the same group of people with this Prince of Wands, you're also being encouraged to, when you're feeling down, when you're feeling like, because I've gone through periods of depression, really bad ones in the past. And what it does is it kind of zaps your energy and you don't want to move. And if you're mourning something and you're depressed because you're mourning, I say give yourself time, right? Give yourself a period. If it's something really upsetting, if you need a whole week to just, be in a spot, mourning, crying, if you need to scream, whatever. But after that week, you get up and you get moving. This Wands here, this Prince of Wands is saying, get up and get moving. Don't let this don't let darkness, depression, sadness, negativity zap your strength so that you're unable to move forward. With the Fool here, one of the ways for you to improve your mental health is to move on. There is a huge cycle of your life that wants to close out, that needs to close out so that something can start again. With the Fool and a Death card combined, like, something needs to absolutely be released. And I'm seeing this in so many different readings. We get really accustomed to things, right? And we get comfortable with things. But then when the time comes for them to be removed from our lives, we'll get a lot of hints and clues that we need to move forward. But because we're comfortable or we're fearful, we won't move. So in order to improve your mental health, accept the deaths in your life. Accept the things that are trying to leave your life, even if it's hard. Be honest with yourself. Be realistic. If something is over, let it go. There is beauty in death. I think we have a hard time noticing that. Sometimes we don't see it until much later. But let things go so that new things can come to you. In order to improve your mental health, some of you need to take a chance. Yeah, some of you need to take a chance and go in a new direction. I feel like you know that I'm talking to you. You've been thinking about something. You want to go in this new direction. You want to try something new. Maybe moving to a new location. Maybe giving up all your possessions and moving and leaving someone or something. Maybe, one or two of you want to just take your pet and leave, and that's it, with a little bit of your belongings. Go on some new adventure. If you want to improve your mental health, take this step. Go on this new adventure. Do so with your eyes open, right? And you being realistic, but make the move. For some of you, your mental health is suffering because of someone who's passed away, and you're still holding on to that person to the point where you've forgotten to live because they've passed away. From what I know, some of the dead really don't like that. They don't like the fact that they would, leave and you're still here holding on to them to the point where you're not living. So in order to improve your mental health, you have to let this person go. You hold their memory, you honor them if you want, but you can't keep carrying the dead with you, so to speak, okay? Last cards. So yeah, you're being encouraged if you want to improve your mental health with the longevity card here. They say plan for and take the dedicated path. So dedicate yourself to your goals, right? Pick one goal and work on that. Some of you are depressed because you're not fulfilling a deep desire of yours. So don't do that to yourself. Some of you, a way to improve your mental health is through an absence. So maybe separating yourself from other people, or maybe you need to, basically get someone out of your life. Like there's something where there's a need to step away in order to improve your mental health. And spirituality says it's time to connect with what you believe. So in order to improve your mental health, you need to go within and really check in with that higher, the higher consciousness, the higher part of yourself, because that's where all your wisdom and that's lies, but it's also where the stores of energy that you need to get up and go for your goals and be hopeful. All of that is within you. You just have to really go in and dig it out. I hope this has been helpful. If you haven't subscribed, please do. And please hit that like button. I'll talk to you next time. Ashe.